Yeah.
Yeah, we know because we're doing some things for Earth Month.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the people that we did a cool thing with, Senator Sabina Perez, who just happens to be the environment oversight for the 36th Guam legislature. So, Senator, we wanted to bring you on to kind of kick off Earth Month, and I know you had a resolution about the contamination of water, and then also there was a huge announcement that the United Nations, through their special rapporteurs, have written to the federal government about just a whole bunch of military buildup issues relative to indigenous rights and the impact on the Chamorros and the people of Guam. So we'll just start with the resolution, I guess. Senator, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Chris and Sabrina, Jason, and everybody at KUEM, and thank you for having me on today. Yes, so I did introduce a water resolution yesterday, and it's really centered on celebrating and reaffirming our human rights to water, which is recognized internationally by the United Nations. And so really, there is the belief that, access to clean drinking water is the basis of all human rights. And without that, we cannot exercise the other human rights. And so this is very critical. And, it's easy to take for granted when you turn on your tap, you have clean water coming out of it. But we don't always consider, where that water is coming from and how fragile that system that supplies the water is. And as most people perhaps may have heard, that 80 to 90% of our water comes from underground, which is the Northern Guamans Aquifer, which is a soil source aquifer. And water is a source of all life for everyone here on Guam, everyone who calls Guam home. And it's also so critical for the health of our community. We need water daily, and that water needs to be cleaned. And we are dealing with high cancer rates on Guam, and there are many documents that I've seen that shows there's a legacy of contamination that's military related, and that still needs to be cleaned up. And so when we're dealing with the challenges to safe, clean drinking water, there's one project that I've been focused on for so many years prior to becoming senator, and now also being a senator, which is the live fire training range up at Northwest Field. And there's still one project, it's still part of it that has yet to be constructed, and that's the part I really would like to prevent from being cleared. And I want to make sure that that's protected. In addition to the prevention of the firing of 6.7 million bullets every year for an indefinite amount of time. And so here we're dealing with a legacy of contamination, and lead, adding to that is this firing range. And many of these bullets contain lead. It was even identified in their EIS that there's a potential for lead to leach into the aquifer. And so lead has been banned since the 1980s in the United States, and 1999 in Guam, because of the health effects. Lead was taken out of paint, it was taken out of gasoline. Before we used to have leaded paint, we used to have leaded gasoline, but because of the contamination issues from lead, it was banned. And so what it causes, delayed development in youth and in children and developing fetuses. It can cause other health effects that are long-term and chronic. And cancer, as you know, is another issue that we're dealing with. Is one of the leading health problems on Guam. And the other thing is that a lot of these sites, contamination sites, and we're talking about the Superfund sites, and these are the most contaminated sites in the U.S. And a lot of that is within Andersen Air Force Base, and we're talking about chemicals that are carcinogenic, TCEs, right? There's even radium, there's beryllium, all these chemicals that can cause harm. And just as recently that, they were caught, Andersen was fined for using chlorinated tablets that are used for swimming pools to disinfect their water. And that contains a chemical that's hazardous to aquatic life. And so, I think, part of the issue is, what can we do? Again, going back to World Water Day and affirming our right to human clean drinking water is, what can we do as a community to protect ourselves from these very harsh chemicals that last in the environment for a very long time. The other part of this resolution is it provides a solution, and one of the solutions is working with U.S. EPA. So U.S. EPA has endorsed the United Nations rights for Indigenous peoples. And part of that is ensuring that we have meaningful participation in the policies that take place amongst Indigenous peoples, including the Chamorro people. And so they've been also included in this process. And this is something relatively, I think, new. It seems like it's new and up and coming. And I think this particular avenue is worth pursuing, especially in light of what has taken place yesterday in regards to the announcement by the letter that was sent by the 3 rapporteurs to the U.S. government in regards to ensuring that we have a stake and a say in how to protect our environment.
Right, and that's why we have Monica Flores from PLSR, Protehi Lategzen Saver Tidian, on. I mean, obviously, I saw you guys were very elated at this news. My Twitter was just going off, right? You guys viewing this as kind of a big victory, and maybe you're getting the UN now to also go to bat in your corner with the feds?
Good morning, Chris.
Morning.
Jason and Senator Hoffaday. It's so great to join you this morning. Thanks for having us and sharing this time with us, Senator. Yes, when we think about for the many decades, our elders and many activists have gone to testify at the UN as petitioners. And we haven't made much progress, and the resolutions that have passed that have been ignored. This is the first time that the United Nations is communicating directly to the US government and very specifically about these human rights and Indigenous rights violations. And we are extremely grateful to Attorney Julia Nuggan and Blue Ocean Law for helping us and for filing the submission on our behalf, which generated this letter by the special rapporteurs on human rights, the special rapporteur on Indigenous rights, and the special rapporteur on human rights with special interest in toxics. And so they've basically looked at all of the evidence. We filed the submission last August, and we've been waiting very patiently. We've actually been involved in several meetings with some of the staff of the special rapporteurs. We've done a lot of work with Julie in the last few months, and we weren't really able to share any updates because the process is confidential. And we just found out the other day about the letter, and this is unprecedented. So this has never happened for the people of Guam. So it is a historic moment, and we're very proud and we're very grateful for this work.
Just so a little background here, in case you guys don't know, the United Nations Special Rapporteurs are independent experts appointed by the UN Human Rights Council with the mandate to monitor, advise, and publicly report on human rights situations in specific countries and on human rights violations worldwide. The mandates cover a wide range of issues relating to civil, cultural, economic, political, and social rights, including the human rights of migrants, violence against women, the rights of internally displaced persons, freedom of religion, and arbitrary detention, among many others. Their functions include responding to individual complaints, conducting studies, providing advice on technical cooperation, and undertaking country visits to assess specific human rights situations. Are they coming out to Guam, or have they already been?
Well, no. See, and that's the thing. Several petitioners and resolutions that ask for visiting missions specific to self-determination, and nothing has happened. In this case, there are 6 asks. And they're quite profound. One of them is including a report, an update on Superfund sites and what sites are in progress of being, are in the process of being identified as a Superfund site. The senator was just talking about Anderson Air Force Base, where we had terrible contamination of soil and water. And so they want to know the progress of the cleanup of Superfund sites. And it's important for the people of Guam to remember that we have these sites that are so toxic that we can't even go and clean them up ourselves, and they exist because of military contamination here. And so this report acknowledges this long-standing history of military contamination and all of the pending risks with the buildup and the relocation. Another incredible ask is for them to resolve any past human rights violations of the Chamorro people and prevent any further violations. And with that ask, a really powerful request that they have is that while they're waiting a reply from President Biden, who this letter is addressed to, the president and the U.S. government has 60 days to respond. And while they're waiting for the reply, the UN is asking that they prevent any reoccurrence of violations. Technically, that can be interpreted to asking them to pause, to not have any violations. In this case, I mean, we're hoping that this means that it'll pause more destruction, more desecration of our ancestors until the investigation is over. We're hoping things are paused for 60 days. Whether or not the government will respond or how they will respond, we're not sure. We have to wait and see in the next 60 days, but we can keep pushing it. And of course, one of the major asks as well, the 6 asks, is that they want to know what the United States has done to support and promote self-determination. So this is unprecedented. It's quite exciting. So we're really we're very grateful for the work of all of our partners and the partnership of Julian Again and Blue Ocean Law and UNPO. And we're planning a lot of next steps forward, including a ceremony in a few weeks up north for us to pray and honor our ancestors who have been taken violently from their final places of rest, and also for us to come together as a community to heal, to find some healing, and to hopefully unite in this continued effort.
Well, keep us posted on the way forward, Monica, and congratulations. Senator, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Cleaner. It's a little cleaner than the last time we hung out.
Yes, that's always great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having us.
Was there anything new with the GSA?
GSA, not at this time, but I'll definitely keep you posted on that.
Right. Yeah. Did you hear we asked the public auditor about the expenditures, the 27 pages too? So you might want to check that interview out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Good day.
Right on.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Right on. 9:30, just a really quick break, and we're coming back with Vice Speaker Tina Munia-Barnes next on the link. We're also getting the Governor's Communications Director, Crystal Pacos and Augustine, I believe, to close out the show.
And 9:50.
Huh?
She said she's coming on 9:50.